Thank you for joining me today. Well, today it's Wednesday. It's February the 3rd, and thank you so much for joining us today. Again, midway part of the week, and that means that you're halfway through your work week, halfway through the school week, and then, of course, Wednesday evening Bible study if you're able to attend. I know that'd be a blessing to yourself and everybody involved if you possibly can get there. Well, we start our theme on Monday using the word now, where now would be contained in our references, and we're going to look at another one today. Today we're going to be in 2 Corinthians chapter 6. Our key verse is verse number 2. I think we want to read verses 1 through 4, I think it is. At any rate, give you a chance to find 2 Corinthians chapter 6. And again, thank you so much who watch these, the feedback, the remarks, anything. We appreciate you very much. And let's just get through these times together and try to do what we can for the Lord while we can. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. It's Wednesdays. That means you're going to get something tonight through your church and one way or another. So we'll try to make it just as brief as possible and make it make it as helpful as possible too. Okay, so 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 1 says this: "We then, as workers together with him, beseech you also that ye receive not the grace of God in vain." Now notice verse number 2 here. "For he saith, I have heard thee in a time accepted, and in the day of salvation have I succored thee. Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation, giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed, but in all things approving ourselves as the ministers of God in much patience, in afflictions, in necessities, in distresses." And then it gives a long list of things there. But let's go back to that verse number 2. And the first thing we want to emphasize is, of course, an important truth is, which is now is the accepted time in terms of salvation. That means if you're listening to this and you're inquisitive as to a Bible devotion or something's drawn you to this particular site here, this particular video, and you say, well, I've contemplated salvation. You may not use the words like I've contemplated getting saved, or, I'd like to know the Lord, whatever your wording is. But let me just say this: whatever it is, if God's drawn you to this and you're not a child of God, you're not saved, then, today is the day of salvation. You never know what's going to happen in your life beyond the present moment. None of us do. So this idea of debating should I not, you should always right now decide in your case, if you're not saved, to be saved now, because there is no positive reason for waiting or delaying. The only thing that causes you to do that is a distrust or an unbelief in God that it's either important or it's true, or the influence outside of your own being, which would be through Satan or the world, to downplay a decision for Christ or to minimize it or even just discount it altogether. But the point is, there's nothing that God is saying to you to say, well, you go ahead and wait. It's no big deal. No, now is the day of salvation. This would be the accepted day. But if you look at the context here, and that's a true statement, and I don't want to deter from that truth at all, because today is the day of salvation for anybody who's not saved. There's no doubt about it. Now is that time. But when you look at the verse before and after, it begins with talking about workers for Christ, workers with him. And it talks about receiving not the grace of God in vain. In other words, the grace of God is not just something that saved you from the penalty of hell, but it's the grace that teaches us to live for God. Of course, denying godliness, as the Bible teaches. But we're supposed to grow in grace, grow in usefulness, grow in an influence for the Lord. And it so begins that way. Then, of course, it talks about, I've heard thee in a time accepted. He heard your plea for salvation. Today's the accepted time, of course. Today's the day of salvation. Then it goes right into giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed. So I guess here's the other truth, and here's kind of where this central truth of not putting off God for salvation. But within the context there, it's talking about people that would make a decision not to serve God as they should. In other words, if it's you or if it's me, and you're saying, what, I know I need to be doing more for the Lord, and I know there's some things I need to change, or there's some decisions I need to make, or there's some things I need to separate from my life, or some things I need to bring into my life. I need to get my devotions in order. Whatever it is, then this idea of delaying that's no good either. Today's the accepted day to do that. Now is the time for you to say, it's time to serve God right now. There is no delay. not only for the fact that you're going to stand before God and give an account of yourself, your service, but think about the people around you. Certainly, the service of God involves you doing things for the Lord, and part of that, of course, involves you bringing people to a knowledge of Christ through your life, through the witness, and all of that. So imagine the delays that you're making, causing other people to not be able to be influenced by the Lord through you. So either way, whether it's for salvation or for service, now is the accepted time to say yes to the Lord. For salvation, certainly. Yes, now, today is the accepted time to say yes to serving God with everything you have. That's important. That's something you need to do. And to not put it off, because there's never a time where God says, well, it's okay. I mean, delay. You kind of weigh the pros and cons. There is no cons to serving God. It's all pros. Only the devil, your flesh, the world is going to tell you about the cons of serving the Lord. There is none. And so for you to delay, you to wait, that's just not what we're supposed to do. So today is the day of salvation, and today is the day of service for the Lord. Now is that time. So I hope you understand that. And let's all be busy about the Lord. Let's be challenged by the days, and let's do something for God. And now is the time to do that. Okay. So let's help each other do that. We'll see you tomorrow as we'll be looking at Thursday at our next installment, our fourth installment, using the word now or where it may be contained in the scripture. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.